Welcome back to Super Sunday here for HGC as we are watching Fnatic and Dignitas face off. There was a second there we thought Dig might walk away with a 3-0, but Fnatic brought out angry Fnatic and they got a win on the board. And for you at home, let's get you updated on why this match is so important and what Fnatic is looking forward to getting here. As you were mentioning before we left, Fnatic wants to get a 3-2.
Exactly. So just look at this once again. We are in a situation in which the scores that the team has had over the season really matter. And Fnatic had 5 3-0s, Dignitas had 5 3-0s as well. So one difference that we have here right now are the 3-2s. So in a situation in where we have just everything tight, it comes down to the results on the weekend now. So, on the last play day. So at this point, a victory is really important for the two teams, and every map in the end matters because you can always hope that your opponent is screwing up a little bit.
Can always hope that. And then Team Liquid at the very bottom here, they just have to wait for Dignitas and hope that they lose as well as Fnatic for them to have a chance for that #1 spot. It's super small.
Because if Fnatic loses now with taking 2 maps, they are tied in every single aspect with Dignitas. 3-0 victories, 3-1 victories, and 3-2 victories. And then it really comes down to how does Dignitas perform against Tricked and how does Fnatic perform against Team Synergy. So that is going to be the big thing next week. And we could see either a complete tiebreaker, or if one of the two teams screws up, the other one takes the #1 spot and goes straight to the mid-season brawl.
Every single game mattering here at the HGC. Now we are getting ready for game number 4. Fnatic and Dignitas facing off. Reminder, Dignitas is up 2-1. Last game, they pulled out the Lili and just did not pan out as well as you would think. Now, I don't know if that's fully the composition fault or if it's just Fnatic, they got so angry with their aggression. They got so many kills early that maybe Dignitas just got put too far behind to even be effective. Let's go ahead and get ready for game number 4 here. The battleground we are moving into will be Braxis Holdout.
And it is the map choice of Fnatic, so they might have something planned here for us. Of course, as we said on the last map, Fnatic, they got an early lead because they really drove that momentum home hard. They had a very aggressive composition, and they tried a similar approach in the first map when they played against Team Dignitas on Towers of Doom, but back then, you just couldn't establish a dominant position on the map. On the last time we saw them here on Infernal Shrines, on the other hand, that worked out quite well, so now they at least closed the gap a little bit, but still, Dignitas is looking at a potential 3-1 victory here if they can make it happen on Braxis.
I am curious to see if Braxis Holdout is going to be a battleground that Fnatic has a special strategy on. I checked the last 2 matches we've had them in, and they haven't played on Braxis in a couple of weeks. So It is kind of curious for them to go here and see what they have in store, where Dignitas usually has a strong showing on this battleground.
If they go full white draw on us and show some special tactics, they might be able to take Dignitas down here. But as you said, Dignitas had great and strong showings on this map. And again, they banned the Tassadar. It's actually very interesting to see that, because Tassadar has been starting to fall a little bit farther behind in the draft priority for most teams, but Dignitas, still, they don't want to play him, they don't want to play against him. It's just one of those staple bans for them where they just say from the get-go, yeah, just get that hero out of here, we don't like him, we hate Protoss. I can understand that, I just don't think if the hate right now is justified.
Yeah, is it warranted? That's the question. As Tassadar, with his latest run of Nurse, has fallen off slightly for our teams now. Zarya comes out first for Dig. Now, Zarya, pretty big in North America, or at least the last couple of weeks. Haven't seen him in the last couple of matches, but still, Zarya picked up pretty often, and this used to be huge in Europe. What she gives is the strong early game. The shields coming out, being able to deny the damage coming your way, and on Braxis Holdout with the 4-man rotation, you're usually in a good spot to handle it.
Yeah, we have very few teams in Europe that play Zarya regularly. I would say the only 2 that I can name on the top of my head where we've seen it occasionally is the Playing Ducks, where Sport Billy falls back onto Zarya depending on the map choice, and we've seen it a bit from Team Expert as well, but not to the extent that we had in the first part of the season. So now Fnatic with the ban on Gul'dan, also again eliminating the Horrify and a lot of the wave clear that is possible on this map. They need to go into their first double pick. And you can tell that Zarya was not something that they had on their mind. Think about how teams approach the draft. Normally when you go into it, you have a very clear idea of what you want to ban and what you want to first pick, and you have a rough idea of what your opponent is most likely going to go for. You go through a couple of scenarios, what you expect them to do, say, okay, if they pick hero A, we do this. If they pick hero B, they do that. But now, with how slow this is running right now, you could have actually immediately been telling, okay, they did not expect the Zarya to come out. They were probably thinking about a Dehaka, a false set, maybe something completely different here. So, yeah. They react with False Set and Malfurion.
Yep, great answers here. False Set gives you the rotations in. One of the good things about Zarya, or why she's fallen out in Europe a little bit, is that teams have gotten so much better at locking her down. When you play her on the shield, she actually has a small window where she is completely punishable if you go in for the engages. Malfurion provides that with the roots on the escape, and False Set with the rotations in allow for you to get a number advantage where Zarya starts to falter pretty heavily in a team fight. Now, Dignitas, answers with just health bars here and strength. Arthas and Sonya for the pickups.
This is going to be a match that is heavily going to be decided also by the top laners. Sonya currently taken for Dignitas, and she's amazing in that position, but how is Fnatic going to react to it? The one thing that is very awkward about Zarya at times is that when it comes to rotation and about lane setups, it can become a bit annoying. This is one of the reasons why she's a bit more common on Braxis, because you normally have a very clear idea how to play. The top lane at the top and then the 4-man rotation. There have been teams that have starting to just slowly go away from that, trying to use globals in a bit of a different way, making rotation happen with a Nubarak, for example, tunneling through and turning it into a quick 2 versus 1 up at the top. If Fnatic gets something like this, then it's going to make it very awkward for Dignitas. Since Zarya is very bad at that solo top lane, the rotations is not always that strong. She's usually just relying on other heroes to benefit from what she brings to the table. So maybe Fnatic can exploit that. But for now, Dignitas has a very, very beefy comp, especially in team fights.
Yeah, they do. And Vola ban popping out here for Fnatic. Vola, similar to what we've seen in the past with Tacit or Vola. The great strength there, the shield being available allows for her to go aggressive there. And if you go for any type of punishment, suddenly Zarya gets much stronger with her poke on the Qs. So Vola ban makes a lot of sense here. This is kind of like leaning towards a Zul Jim possible pickup for Dignitas, which we've seen in the past, especially here on Braxis Holdout. Mane likes to play that hero when he has a strong 4-man rotation. I am wondering about Fnatic. Will they have enough engage available? Because if not, Dignitas does have the chance here to maybe pick up a Morales, which would be off the cuff, but one that they can pull off well.
I would expect a Nubarak again for them. Yep. I think a Nubarak is going to be one of the pickups here. It's actually interesting because I talked with Fnatic quite a bit about Zarya in particular and with a few players about their personal impression. They had a couple of Zaryas in the past. Breeze says he actually enjoys playing her, but they all agreed that in the end Zarya doesn't really fit a lot of comps and you can play around her on a lot of maps. This is definitely one of her better maps. So let's see if Fnatic can make that work. But again, as you said, a little bit of dive would be good for them. Nubarak would be a hero that I would expect here. There's other choices. What I'm mostly interested in, what's going to be happening at the top lane. What is the top laner they decide on to take on Sonya?
Do you think Fnatic moves in a double global here? Is it worth it against that front line of Arthas Sonya?
This is actually one of the things that I've been thinking about. If they feel that they can use the double globals to rotate quickly between lanes and really get snap call kills in there, that would be one of the ways they can handle with this. When we're talking top lane, Dehaka comes to mind, Leoric oftentimes, Ragnaros has made an appearance there. All of them are not having the easiest time against the Sonya, so you always need to be a bit careful of how you play against this. But if they just rotate fast enough with globals to put some pressure on Sonya up at the top, this is something that they could pull off.
There's the Nubrak and the Dehaka being moved in. So we have Engage here with the Nubrak, and we have Dehaka for the global slash to the top lane. So now we have Falstad and Dehaka that can rotate between the lanes, go for the aggressive plays. Seen in the past, you've already alluded to it a lot. Nubrak does give the ability here for Fnatic to dive in forward, so you get to that back line in case a squishy does pop up here, like a Morales, as we were mentioning in the future, especially with a Cocoon coming out on the Zarya. But Fnatic is building a composition here that is going to require top-tier coordination to be effective.
Yeah, and the coordination is really important, but at the same time, think about which team introduced that swap between the globals on the 2 lanes the entire time. It was Dignitas.
Yep.
So this is not one of those things where you can blindside them with it. So they know exactly the strength of Fnatic's composition right now, and they obviously said, we can deal with it. We're not too worried about it. If they would, in the back of their head, have thought about it and said, like, okay, might be a problem for us, they would have either picked one of the 2 globals or they would have banned it out. They didn't do that. They don't worry about it too much. They're saying, hey, we're confident that we can deal with these situations, and they have to prove that now. But they have a very beefy setup. They need a support, and they need a damage dealer. Damage dealer is confirmed. We have Greymane, and as our support, it is Lucio. So no cleanse available against the root, the stuns on Nubarak, and the Tong of Dehaka.
All right, so we have our Greymane, we have our Lucio, we have Ways Out if a global comes your way and the drag does not connect. So Dignitas is well equipped here to deal with Fnatic. Fnatic's going to need a little bit more damage on the right side here for their team. Greymane being taken away. He's usually one of the go-tos. Do you think you move into a Tychus here?
Tychus is something that I personally didn't really see for them. Thinking about it, there is a lot of targets for him available. Since we are most likely looking for a hero for Shrimpy, I was for a second even considering what can you do with a Chromie here? Is that enough poke for you? Because you have a lot of targets at the front line. Is that something where you... Okay,
no,
it's the
Chromie
Tychus
and Zarya is so scary to go against.
Good point, the shields.
Okay.
I'm thinking a little bit around too many corners right now. But yeah, the Tychus gives them another auto attack damage dealer, so they are going to try and chunk down, especially, of course, Arthas up at the front.
Okay, so for Fnatic, it's all about coordination, as we mentioned during the draft here. Tychus can burn down that front line, but the dives are what's going to be important. And Nubrak has to be on point, as well as the Haka coming in for the flanks, and even Falstad for the aggressive plays onto one isolated target. If Zarya can be on point with their shields, Dignitas can handle this. They can do pretty well overall, and they have great damage too with Greymane and Sonya. She gets on that back line. Tychus, even himself, might have a bit of a hard time. So it really comes down to, really, the shot calling.
I still like what Fnatic has, since Fnatic is the team that is known to thrive on globals. To be fair, most of the big three have that reputation that with globals they can set up really great macro play. But if you think about Fnatic, you think about Sky Temple. You think about a map where they have shown so many plays with the Haka and with Falstad. Getting a tongue in on the Haka, gusting the rest away. Things like this is something that helped them a lot at BlizzCon, for example, when they were facing off against the Koreans. So this is something they're known for. So I like this for them. If they show up like they did on the last map, just simply showing the aggression and playing crisp, that's amazing. If they fall into that same intimidated state that they had on Towers of Doom in a lot of ways, then Dignitas is going to rush over them. But I like the tools that Fnatic have now for themselves.
Yeah, I like the comp for Fnatic if they play the way they did on Infernal Shrines.
Yeah.
But if I'm just looking at these by themselves, if Dignitas play safe, they should be in a good spot. Let's go ahead and get ready here for game number 4. Brax's holdout will be it. Dignitas is up 2-1 over Fnatic.
Dignitas has the lead in the best-of-5 series, but Fnatic was able to take the last map. Arguably, the Team Red has a more difficult comp to play, but we have a very strong setup for our team in blue to the left side of the map. It is Team Dignitas with Snitch on Zarya, Bakery and Lucio, Mane on Greymane. We have Zarya playing Sonya and JPL on others.
To the right in the red, they pulled out the angry Fnatic last game. It's going to be Smexy here, playing the Malfurion. We're going to have Dehaka being played by Wubby. We're going to have Falstad played by Quacknix. Breeze will be on the Anubrak, and Schwimpy will be on Tychus.
So we definitely have to watch out what's going on with these globals. We have Falstad already flying into the bush towards the left side. So the whole idea of that setup that we see to the top lane for Fnatic is to put early pressure onto the solo laner they expect there. The thing is, Dignitas doesn't set up that solo lane. Instead, they have 4 heroes currently moving in for this, and they are trying to see what they can do with it. Already locking down Wubby. No kill confirmed. Quacknix moves away. There's also no tower that has been taken down, so Fnatic doesn't get that early pressure against a single hero, but they still have 2 heroes up here that can now deal with that aggression, while they themselves start to put the pressure onto the bot lane.
Yeah, but now Wubby can actually afford to pop out and help out with the wave clear with the hammering being there from Falstad. Going to have the turrets focused down as Dignitas grabs the second one here as they burn it, but Fnatic answering back here in the bottom left. Azalea is doing his best to defend in terms of just staying on the mountain, soaking experience.
Now, one slight problem that we currently have, because up to the top, Wubby and Quacknix are not really able to do a whole lot against the 4-man, just simply because Zarya has the shields, and then we have on top of that Lucio behind them. So for them, it's really difficult to make anything work. It doesn't matter at this point if there are 2 heroes or if there's only 1 hero up at the top, because they are very unlikely to make any big defense happen there. At the bot lane, on the other hand, that's where we're seeing Fnatic trying now to pressure in, and they simply rotate to the top since they realized that problem as well, so they had to make a decision, and they have now up at the top lane a 4-man that is trying to face off against what Dignitas is throwing into the battle.
Breeze moves in, the tongue does hit on Snitch here. He's gonna pop the shield at the last second to survive, turns around for the damage. Mane doing really well here, getting on top of a Nubrak, and Nubrak falls, and Wubby as well getting chunked.
Really well done by Bakery, just booping him into the rest of the team so the beetle falls. But Dignitas nearly losing Zarya here. This is the sustain that they really have with the shields. And the bot lane is now also a bit interesting since we have Tychus. Personally, I actually expected one of the globals to simply rotate down, and so far that hasn't been the case. But Tychus is able to take the beacon at the bot lane for the time being, as of course there's always the threat of Wubby or Falstad moving in, so Zelia can't really be too aggressive. This is one of the things that make the solo lane very difficult for them.
Yep, he plays passive here. He's going to hold in, but with Dehaka, he's going to brush sucker. Team Dignitas is taking the opportunity to push in the top lane, and they have chunked down a fort. And now they can afford, at some point, if they get a pick or two, to rotate down 4 members down the bottom left. However, Fnatic realizing this, they immediately take their globals and rotate down to grab their own fort. They don't want to give Dignitas the time to change out the rotations.
Yeah, Fnatic is under pressure here, and they need to react fast, and that's what they did. They moved to the bot lane since they realized they won't be able to save their own fort, so they said, guys, we need to trade. We need to fly down fast and use the time that we have, that we do not have to spend on the rotation itself to get this done. Quacknix now in an awkward spot. Art is able to barrel roll away and back to safety, so no one lost here. 1 kill so far in the game, and that was on the side of Dignitas. But both of the teams now fighting, of course, over the beacon face.
Great patience there by Falstead, by the way. He was sitting in a spot waiting for the boop to come out from Lucio so he could actually go over the wall. Had he done it a little bit too early, Bakery was trying to time it out to stop that barrel roll from being effective. So Quacknix will survive thanks to his patience. We're going to have multiple members in the top right once again here for Dignitas as they keep pushing in, soaking that experience with the aid of Arthas, but the beacon phase has begun to be contested as the top beacon will now be grabbed by Dig.
It's such an intense game. It's such an intense game that we are watching here now. Whoopi does not have the drag, Xaylia gets away, and you have to really think about what's on the line here. Fnatic wins the map. Even if they lose this series, they are still in a decent spot for the remainder of the season. It is all about the #1 seed in the rankings. Who goes to Sweden? Who qualifies directly for the offline finals, and who has to go to play in the playoffs? That's what this is about. Map number 4 plays a huge role in this, and Dignitas is very eager to clench out a victory.
It's all on the table here between our two teams, and they are neck and neck right now. As 0% has been grabbed by both beacons. They are both at 6.5 in experience, moving towards level 7. Dignitas moving forward here. If the Howling Blast can connect here for Breeze, he gets it. JBL keeps moving in. The Burrow Charge down is 2 more seconds. Can he live in a second or two? He'll be able to Burrow Charge down. He gets away. Oh my.
Yeah, close call there for sure, but they are able to keep him alive. And there was, of course, also a lot of time invested for Dignitas up at the top lane. They still hit their level 4 a bit faster, but you can tell that they are fighting for every inch of this map. Now, Dignitas going for a camp, but they are getting attacked. It's a 4 versus 4 as we see everyone jumping in.
5v4 now as Wubby rotates in. Snitch low on health. Bakery walks out for the last second knockback. Swippy goes mid-nade! But the shields come out, and Sonya takes the opportunity to move into the bottom beacon phase, but Fnatic finally gets on the scoreboard here with, what, 18% on the beacon phase.
Yeah, 18% already. That makes for a pretty weak vodka, but already for a slight lead in the progress bar.
That was a comment. Fnatic and Dignitas keeping up here. I like Dignitas constantly coming up to the top right corner to get the Hellbats. They keep sneaking them away here, which allows them to have slight control. Sonya can handle her own on the bottom left. But every single time that they go for the Hellbats at the top right, Bakery starts to rotate down to help out Lucio or Sonya to make sure she doesn't get focused down. But this time, Fnatic catches on. They move in. Falstead even flying.
They really hate Zarya, don't they? But they can't kill her, and once again, she also helps out to save, in this case, Sonya. So it's always either one of the frontliners that are trying to drop. They went for Zarya several times. She keeps herself alive. Now they don't target her, but she's still the one hero that makes the escape of the target possible.
And to note, Fnatic should grab both. They grab the Hellbats in top right corner. They still have some Dig. As Dig spread themselves a bit too thin, making sure they can get together as a unit of 4, because they have to respect the globals.
Yeah, exactly. The globals, that's something that Fnatic is really putting to use at this point. And we are seeing this as we speak down to the bot lane, where Sonya is now attempting to deal with the Haka and the pressure that he's able to push out there. But already up to the top, the fight is starting. The Haka comes in, is looking for the drag here. They're trying to go for the kill, and he went into feeding frenzy here too. So cooldown reduction on the drag thanks to the basic attacks. And that's actually important since they want to set up more and more ganks against the opponent. Super important tool for them to utilize.
Xaylia on the bottom left went to go in for the beacon, knowing that Fnatic is up there, but Quacknix turned around and come in for damage, and somehow, some way, Dignitas continues to keep surviving.
I'm not so sure about that move by Fnatic. They went really deep, and now they get attacked here. They could lose one of their heroes, but nope, barely Breeze able to move away. That was a close call, though. That was a really close call. It was a great rotation from Dignitas, super fast when they realized that there was an ambush on Sonya happening, and they nearly turned that into a kill.
During that, Dignitas able to grab both beacons. They get 12% here into the 36 of Fnatic. Now 10 is where things start to become a little bit more scary for both of our teams. Obviously with Heroics coming online. Demolitionist Expert does finish out, and now Zarya can start chunking fools down if she has the energy available. Especially around the beacon haze.
12 to 36 at this point. Up to the top, the fight is continuing between Sonya and Haka, but down here it's a 4 versus 4 situation with JPL getting knocked up once again. Shrimpy trying to burn them down. Mena jumping in on Breeze, trying to get a kill. Still a slight lead in experience for Fnatic. And I have to stress again, the adjustments that we see in the builds, especially the feeding frenzy on the side of Dehaka, him dropping Symbiosis as a talent and simply saying we need to set up these ganks and we need to do it as often as we possibly can. And if we can get that kill with a good drag and a good chain stun, then we can make this game happen. So therefore the adjustment, they go for JBL again, and this time they get the kill.
They turn it around and get the pick off, and this is a big moment for Fnatic. They'll go ahead and grab the top beacon as well as the bottom and start channeling here for the 100% phase, especially with 10 about to hit. In fact, they're engaging on the bottom left. They get a pick on Zarya.
They get the pick on Zarya, and you could see that immediately after they got the first kill, Quacknix immediately wanted to fly top, and then Dehaka says, dude, just leave it. I got this. I have her pushed off. I got the shrine. You stay bot lane so that they can't engage on you. And now they have 100% Zerg wave against, I think it was 12. So at this point, how much can Fnatic get? Dignitas doesn't have 10 yet, but they will for the defense.
They will have 10 for the defense. They're going to bring everyone to the top lane to help out with this phase, while Fawcett sits in the bottom here. The globals really start to snowball here for Fnatic as Dignitas has to bring everyone to defend. Cocktail starts burning down the back line. Cocoon used instantly here. Odin also being popped, and Fawcett is flying in.
Mina under pressure. Fawcett flying in now, but JPL is already in the middle of them. And here comes a quick silence, and that's the kill. Arthas is down. Smexy not hesitating a second to drop the Dream.
The Dream comes out, and also the Mighty Gust knocked everyone from Dignitas away, so they could not save Arthas. Zelia continues to chase in, though, as Smexy gets low on health. Zelia gets a kill here. This is a 4v5 that Dignitas is winning due to having heroics available.
Great move on the side of Zelia there. Getting the kill was super important. Now, of course, we're seeing Fnatic with the attempt to escape. Shrimpy is completely alone. He gets dropped. A double kill for Dignitas brings them back into this, but they lost both of their forts already. The one at the bot lane early on in the trade, and now the one to the top.
And they're going to straight move into the boss here. They're going in. Fawcett's up, and now, actually, he has the Mighty Gust in 12 seconds. So they have a 10-second window to burn down this boss before a massive engage happens here from Fnatic to steal it away.
Oh, there we go.
Sniff it out.
2 seconds for the Gust. Is Quacknix barreling over? They let it go.
That timing, though, that was incredible there. Dignitas realizing that the Mighty Gust was using the top left corner, and then they make a snap boss call after they clear the Guardians.
Clutch. That was a great call. It was a very, very good call. And Dignitas, not only are they very close to Fnatic, but they have with the boss now an opportunity to negate the experience lead that Fnatic holds. 3 kills on both sides. Great fourth game that we see between the two of them.
Twilight Dream up in 8 seconds. Fnatic realizes they can start moving in for a fight with that heroic being available, with Sonya being in the top. And Dignitas, realizing this, does pull away.
And this is a problem that Dignitas has now. Dignitas is constantly splitting Sonya off, and they have to deal with 2 globals. That's the big, big problem for the team in blue. The globals are always empowering Fnatic, but at the same time, if they can force a 5 versus 5 fight and negate this advantage, they are in a decent spot. As the game continues, Fnatic has a bit of an edge with this, but of course they also need to be careful that their own solo laners are not taken out. It's all about the shot calling, about hiding in the bushes, trying to play with the vision, setting up traps against your opponent. Once again, Smexy trying to stop that onslaught. Dehaka stays at the top, but Sonya starts flanking.
She's coming in. Here's going to have the Aegis Spear available. She hits it on Malfurion, and he gets lit up. Malfurion no longer on the field here. Breeze will burrow charge down out of the fight, but the fort now available for taking out.
Ult used and not successful. Zarya, the expulsion zone does not do what they were hoping for. 13 versus 13 is soon becoming a reality, but that was a great kill against Malfurion, and that's exactly what we've been talking about. If you get these good flanks, if you turn it into a 5 versus 4 and the rotation is unnoticed, then Fnatic is starting to lose a bit of ground here. Very sustainable comp. It's incredibly difficult to drop anybody on the side of Dignitas.
Zelia grab the top beacon to grab a little bit of percentage here, but with Quacknix and Dehaka sitting in the top lane, they will have to forfeit that for now. Now 13 is right around the corner. Dignitas looking to grab that, and they will do so.
Sonya.
Breeze is sitting here. Sonya joins as well. All 5 down for Dignitas.
Yeah, up to the top lane. Dehaka can burrow down. They are waiting a little bit longer. Looks like we are seeing Fawcett going for a camp, but at the same time, Dehaka tries to push these lanes back even more, putting the pressure up. Malfurion, he cannot fall here. Camp is being started, so we could see an engage happen if Dehaka goes down. Already, Fawcett is with them. Arthur's in a bit of trouble, and Quacknix pushes him back even further. Still to the top, Dehaka, super patient here, pushing in wave after wave, and eventually, Dignitas will have to react to it.
Dignitas going to go and react now. They move in. They even up the explosion zone, but the mercenary camp timing was way too off. Fnatic is able to take it, and now they're in a threat for Dahaka to rotate in. Dahaka does not, and keeps pushing top, so Sonya will move in for the beacon.
Sonya for the beacon, that's a smart choice, but that means that Ruby has to join the fight. Here comes the Cocoon. Where's Dahaka? Where is he going? We have already 12% on the progress bar for Dignitas, a slight lead. They're going in once again, the Twilight Dream and the end of Arthur's. Good night, sweet prince.
Yeah, Arthur's being taken out. Sound barrier was not up for, what, 9 seconds it looked like? So Dignitas in a spot where they have to fight now without Arthur's being available in 20 seconds. They have a couple of options. They just play defensively here and wait till 16, or they move in for rotations, and they don't have the tools to rotate due to the globals.
This is such an intense game now. It is so intense to see these two going up against each other. And at this point, 20 points on the season marksman stacks for Falstad. Auto attack damage, that's what it's all about here. The lead, the level lead for Fnatic, thanks to the globals here. Constant rotations, 40, 50% on the side of Fnatic. They meet Dignitas early on already. They're trying to zone them out at the bot lane, trying to delay the approach towards the beacon, as of course Dignitas is trying to go on point to avoid another 100% Zerg wave of Fnatic, but it is not successful. Fnatic moves in, they try to go for the Cocoon.
Cocoon goes off. Zarya's the one getting knocked down. The Malfurion route too late though. The sound barrier coming out. Snitch hoping to live here. Explosions has been dropped. JPL chasing forward here, looking to grab the Quacknix in the back right. Sonya finally joining in the fight, but here's a massive Zerg wave.
The wave comes in. They try to go for Smexy. Sonya is stopped in her tracks. That's the end of Sonya. A double kill for Fnatic as they move in further. They try to go for JPL and Arthurs is falling. The wave is still mercilessly rolling through that bot lane, approaching the wall at the keep. Fnatic is closing in on level 16 talents as well. They are gaining so much momentum here.
This win's so important for them. Fnatic moving forward. The wave is still pretty massive here. About 50% of the 100% is still pushing in. The keep does fall. In 10 seconds, Sonya will spawn, and 14 will have Arthas available for the defense. But the core is available for picking, and we're going to have Odin popped.
Odin is popped, and Shrimpy is starting to fire away from the distance. They're trying to end the game right here. Dignitas, they wait for Arthas. He's back. They're trying to use the expulsion zone to buy themselves a little bit more time. Here comes the drag, and the immediate gust. There's the silence, the Twilight Dream, and a kill against Sonya puts Fnatic further ahead.
Man, it's not done though. He dives in and he gets immediately blown up. Zarya hoping to defend here on full energy, dropping down the grenades. JPL stands forward. Somehow Snitch does live. Will Dignitas defend this core? The core helping out in the defense, and the wave of Zerg have actually been defended.
Fnatic is moving back. They're not risking it here. They're moving back. Howling Blast against Breeze. Again, the turnaround. Arthas is down. This could be the end. They were willing to walk away, but Dignitas were looking for a kill. Snitch is falling too. It's only Lucio remaining. That's not enough. Bakery is good, but he's not that good.
Sonya does spawn. He starts to charge on in, but yes, Falstad and Tychus are hitting the core. It begins to drop down to 40%, down to 30. Here's a Greymane. Mane going in. Swimpy low on health. Can they get Swimpy here? Can they get Smexy? They get 1 kill, 2 kill, 3 kills, but the core falls as Wubby finishes it, and Fnatic will tie up the series 2-2.
Oh my god. What a finish. Fnatic is willing to walk away. They're saying, this is it. We need to fight later. We cannot take it right now. And Dignitas, they want the kill. They get the Howling Blast, and all of a sudden the snap caller's made on the side of Fnatic. Turn around and kill Arthas. Take him down and take him down now. He explodes, and they're saying, boys, we got core. They get Zarya, but then 2 heroes come back. Everybody dies on Fnatic's side except for the Haka, and the core is done. This is insane. At 2-2, we're going to the 5th map.
It's happening. We're actually going to game number 5. This series is living up to the hype as Dignitas and Fnatic continue to go at it. Globals versus this hard composition of Dignitas. It doesn't pan out all the way, but hey, we get a game 5 and let's get ready for it. We'll be right back after a commercial break. This is HGC Europe.